Razer has been on a generational run with their mice, with the occasional bumps on the way with the Cobra and a $300 Viper Mini with holes the size of Antarctica. But that's not what I want to talk about today. Today I want to talk about their most well-kept secret, the Viper V3 Pro. Damn, Walmart, y'all just handing them out or what? This is the follow-up to the V3 Hyperspeed, which in my opinion had one of the best shapes to come out last year. The only thing that was really holding it back for a lot of people was the fact that the sensor placement was higher up on the mouse, and some people are sensitive to that. So Razer again listened to what everybody wanted, and they worked with some pros to finalize the V3 Pro. And after using it for some time, I can say the strength of this mouse is the attention to detail that Razer took with it. So let's take a look at this mouse and what they've done here and some of the changes from the Hyperspeed. Now starting off with the build quality, if I could sum it up, it feels like a tank, but a light tank at that. There's no loose scroll wheel, there's no loose side buttons or side flexing. When you tap, there's none of that rattling or cheapness to the mouse, which is super impressive. Again, for the coding, they worked with the pros and did a blind test and just laid out a bunch of coatings. And then the pros all chose the smooth touch, which is what is on the Death Adder V3 Pro. And I'm glad that they didn't change it because I quite like that coating. I love the smooth touch coating because it provides a lot of grip, but it's not distracting to you when you're aiming. When it comes to the weight, they dropped 28 grams off the original Hyperspeed from 82 grams to 54 grams, which is pretty substantial. And you can definitely feel it with this mouse. It feels like a dream in the hand. Obviously not as light as something like a Sora V2, which is 39 grams, but it's definitely not fatiguing to use whatsoever. Again, they work with pros on the mouse feet, which has changed from the Hyperspeed. Now they have one big slab at the front and one at the back instead of the split and the arch at the back. This is going to give you a smoother glide for sure. I know that they went with what the pros like, but I would have loved to see like some smaller ones included in the box so that you have a choice. Overall, the mouse just feels a lot slower gliding than previous models and other mice on the market, and making little small micro adjustments with these big mouse feet is pretty jerky. I'm not gonna lie to you. Now, I was using the GSR2, so I remedied this by going to a faster control pad like the Artisan Zero or a Saturn. This mouse just doesn't work with mouse pads like the GSR2, which is my main. I'm gonna be waiting for companies to come out with a split version of the mouse feet. If you guys are watching like Core Pads or Tiger, guys, we need the split back. We need arch here, split mouse feet here. In addition to that, it now comes with the 8000 Hertz dongle in the box included, so you don't have to worry about that. But for now, finishing up on the build quality, I will say it is S tier when it comes to build quality. The only con I'd say is the mouse feet, and that can be remedied by some third-party skates. Moving on to the buttons, one thing that I love is that they made the tolerances tighter on the mouse 1 and 2, so there's no wiggle. And it makes these Gen 3 optical switches feel like a Gen 4 switch. Even though they have the same ones on the Death Adder V3 Pro, these feel completely different because of it. What they've done here is super impressive, and again, it's that attention to detail that really sets this mouse apart from other mouse manufacturers. And one thing to note that I really like is that all the way up and down the mouse button, it feels the same. And it's not quite often that you get that. So if you're a person that likes to hold the mouse like all the way back here, like Lyric, if you guys have seen him, crazy aimer, he holds his mouse like almost all the way back here, so it's important to have the clicks be nice up here. Sometimes it can get really tough on some mice. The side buttons are also really nice, barely any pre-travel on them. Definitely S tier on that as well. They also have a gap between the side buttons as well, so you don't accidentally press it. I know on the Viper V2 Pro, if you're coming from that one is almost like one button and you might accidentally hit the button. The scroll wheel is light but defined and gives the mouse a nice satisfying click when it's pressed in. They also removed the DPI button from the top and put it on the bottom, and that doubles as the power button as well. One thing to note though is that they've actually put a ledge here. I mentioned this on the Hyperspeed review as well. But on the original V2 Pro, you would kind of pinch your finger in this little gap. So they moved the ledge up and separated it from the button so you don't pinch your finger anymore, which is nice. All right, so let's drop a sound test of the Viper V3 Pro and see what it sounds like. Oh yeah, All right, so do me a favor, guys. If you're enjoying this video, hit that subscribe button and hit that like button. I'd really appreciate it. Size-wise, I'd say this is a medium-large mouse, very comfortable for claw, with the hump more towards the middle. It provides a ton of comfort for the back of your palm and near your knuckles where most of the pressure will be felt. If you want to tuck your fingers on the side, I know some people do kind of like this kind of claw. There's more than enough room. I'm more of like a spider grip where it's like this, where my fingertips are on it and it can like come off in claw grip. You can also palm it, but there will be a slight gap and the hump feels slightly awkward, but nothing like that's gonna be a deal breaker. You can palm it, but it wouldn't be my first choice. I'd probably just go with the Death Adder V3 Pro. And again, you can definitely fingertip grip this mouse as well. And the mouse is also quite wide, so it'll give you a lot of stability when moving on your mouse pad. My hands are 19 by 8.5 centimeters, and it's been a good size for claw, maybe version on too big if you have smaller hands than me. Razer, I would love to see a V3 Pro Mini come out, and that actually might outsell this mouse with all the hype that's been built around a fully enclosed ABS Mini Viper. We got to make that happen this year. Towards the end of the year for the holidays, just sell these out like crazy. It's got to happen because the shape is really good, and I can only imagine just like a slightly smaller shape of this is gonna be like chef's kiss. Moving on to the sensor, has the new Focus 2 sensor from Razer. It tracks really well on a bunch of different mouse pads. Battery life is 90 hours at 1000 Hertz, and at 8000 Hertz, you're gonna get around 17 hours of gameplay. When I'm testing the mouse, I game for about 3 hours a night for about 5 to 6 days a week. And I didn't have to charge it. I charged it on maybe like the 7th day. The biggest thing is that it's just not gonna run out on you on the same day. In Synapse, they've also added in some useful features finally, like being able to check your DPI deviation by moving both mice at the same time. Then you can adjust the Viper V3 Pro's DPI to match what your old mouse DPI would be. And this will help if you want a smooth transition from your old mouse to this new Viper V3 Pro. And man, my OP1 AK is like 200 DPI off from what this one is. So I don't know who's wrong or who's right, but the DPI deviation is huge between the two of these mice. All right, so what more can I really say about the Viper V3 Pro? It's a masterpiece. It feels like all the research paid off for Razer with this mouse. It's a culture shifting mouse and should be the new standard mouse like the G Pro Superlight. It's that good that it could be that like Zowie EC2 or that Superlight where all the pros are using it. It's super reliable and well built with an amazing shape, amazing clicks, and a reliable sensor. Razer is definitely the front runner this year for Mouse of the Year because of all the attention to detail that they put into this mouse. And so if you couldn't tell from all the glazing, I love this mouse and I highly recommend it. I've definitely enjoyed my time with this mouse and it's definitely main mouse worthy. I know you have a lot of options when it comes to mice these days, but there are a few outliers and this is one of them. All right, so that's gonna do it for my review of the Viper V3 Pro. If you guys have any more questions, let me know down in the comments below and I'll be sure to answer. Until then, it has been your boy BT saying